Hello and welcome back to Rogue Trader. We are at the Celestial Prophecy system, which is the system that I thought we needed to be at for Cassia's companion quest. However, when I checked the quest itself, it says that the Lady Navigator is plagued by visions about her house's past, the Stairway Atlas's creation, and a vague and elusive mystery that hides the truth about the nature of House Arcelio's power. Cassia has asked the Rogue Trader to follow her vision so she may expose the past and understand her true purpose in the world. Cassia intends to recreate Tisiphone Arcelio's rituals from her visions in order to find a way to the physical palace of the Atlas. Now, for this, it said that we needed to go to the Celestial Prophecy system, but what it meant is that we needed to go to the Smaragdus Mundus system, which is actually from the Celestial Prophecy system. So we needed to go to the Celestial Prophecy to then travel to the new system, which, you know what, makes a level of sense. Now, I also had a thought about this. The route that we're taking there is an orange route, and I was thinking, wait a second, what if this ability that we've had that I've been talking about, the one that means that red routes turn into orange routes, is actually implemented a little bit differently than I initially thought? What if this route was originally a red route, and that actually it has been downgraded to an orange route because we got it after we got that ability? That would make everything make a little bit more sense. It would mean that this route up here was actually a red route both directions because we got it before we got the ability, while we got this one, I think, after, so that's why it's an orange route. That would make a level of sense. That would mean that there's a reason why we're not getting all the benefits that we think we're getting, and there is something that we're actually getting out of this. I guess to find out, all I'd need to do is find a playthrough that doesn't have it and see whether it's red. But anyway, it's an idea. It's something that we can work on. Before we do that, however, there is an unseen event here, or unforeseen event here. So, let's go find out what this unforeseen event is, and whether there's anything we can do with it. Okay, let's head to the arid world. What are these things? We couldn't go into the one in the previous area. There's places we can't go for whatever reason. Oh no, we can go to this one. Oh no, these are... Oh, you know what these might be? I've just realized what these are. Actually, this makes so much sense. It's actually really funny. So, these are our Grand Strategist. It's called Grand Strategist, right? I keep saying Grand Strategist, but I'm not entirely... Yeah, these are our Grand Strategist areas. If you think about the previous combat we had a rear area with Argenta sitting here and a couple of barrels. This is our frontline area at the front, and at the back, this was our dodge area that we had for the people sitting up here. So these are our Grand Strategist areas overlaid on this map, which gives you a weird insight into its creation, but okay, that's odd. That's very odd. Okay, we're going to ignore that for now. We're going to head over here. We don't really need 5 Promethium, although we do have it already, so we're not going to do anything about that, and we have an unexplored place. An officer of the Augur team reports that this world, covered in thick forests and steep mountain ranges, is of no particular interest except for one fact. A fierce battle is unfolded between a group of Xenos. A multitude of small ships are concentrated around one area, some of them heavily damaged or outright destroyed. Around the center of ships, scanners detect a plethora of xenoforms employing unidentified weapons and technology. Marazai supposes that, in this location, the surviving warriors of the Reaving Tempest could engage their pursuers from the other cabals that crave their death. The Xenos is determined to land on the planet and meet with the Drukhari from his cabal, or unceremoniously barge into the battle, whoever the enemies may be. The Xenos demands the Lord Captain's best warriors set out with them. Let Marazai take part in the melee alongside the assault squad. Wait until the Xenos cut each other down and collect the spoils. Send an assault squad to the planet to destroy the Xenos and acquire their belongings. Destroy all the Xenos from orbit or fly away. I will let Marazai take part in the melee alongside the assault squad. Okay, we got something out of this. After several long hours, Marazai's shuttle finally docks with the Rogue Trader's voidship. Of the group that went to the planet's surface, only the Xenos returned, covered in blood from head to toe. With a smug, snake-like smile on his face, having evidently enjoyed what happened, Marazai hands the Lord Captain a blood-soaked trophy. Does that imply he killed the other members of the group? I'm not a huge fan of that, but okay. That's fine. We now have the Archaeotech Fusion Gun. 80% armor penetration. Deals additional 60 damage to burning enemies. That's pretty good. Is this better than your secondary? Yeah, is this better than that weapon? It's not going to tell me. Okay, so this weapon is 22 to 30 with the additional hit chance. This has dodge reduction, which is kind of the same thing if you think about it. It has 1 shot, 8 range. It could be better. It's not going to be better than what Earliette is running, because her secondary is good right now. You can't use it, so it would be between us using it. We can't use it either, actually, to be fair. So it's really only can you use it, and the answer... Oh, not you use it. It's only can you use it, and the answer is yes, you can. So I think this is worth it. I think this is an interesting secondary. It gives us something that we could potentially use. Heavy armor pen is nice on that thing. Although this actually has better armor pen, so never mind. Hex rifle. Well, it's not better, but it's, 5% less, and she has her 2 weapons with it, so she doesn't really need that. Yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing with that weapon. I think there's no use for it currently. Also, we don't tend to set people on fire, so that 60% extra damage is not that useful. If we did set people on fire, then we would have a great use for it. Right. Now we have the question of, do we want to downgrade this route? I don't really care. No, I think I'm happy to go along a dangerous route. What's happening? Ooh. Okay. Sector, Koronus Expanse. Region, Urselio Prophecy System. Location, Sanctum Navis, Exterior Observation Chambers. Material, Witness Interrogation, Vox Records conducted by Upper Deck Enforcers. Entry A-201.48.66. 10 chronometer turns since the incident. Enforcer. Witness, Hede-on-00110101. You claim that you left the Sanctum Navis on the Lady Navigator's orders. Hede-on 00110101. Affirmative. This unit acted in accordance with the maintenance protocol TRN-08353. Step 1. Sense the sacred mechanisms for the duration of 15 chronometer turns. Step 2. You failed to inform the bridge about the intermittent jump. I want to know why. Data unavailable. The Lady Navigator ordered that she be connected to the voidship, but she did not order the preparation of the machine spirits for warp translation. Cause: a ritual that cannot be identified by this unit's capabilities. This unit received the command to interrupt protocol TRN-08353 and exit the Sanctum Navis. Entry M-001.87.23.30 chronometer turn since the incident. Servant. No, please, not the fingers. I'm going to break one for every word of a lie I hear coming from your mouth. Now talk. Please, you have to forgive me. All we did was prepare the canvas and mix the Lady Navigator's blood into the paints. Then we were told to open the shutter so that the Lord Captain could see everything that was going on inside the Sanctum Navis from the observation chambers and... Rock shit. Armored lass can't shield you from warp horrors. I swear it on my soul and the Golden Throne, Master Enforcer. The Lady Navigator only wanted to paint a picture for a ritual or some such. That's all I know. She wasn't going to use the power in her eye, but I still got as far away from there as I could. That's all I saw, I'm telling you. Ooh, that's a cool picture. Entry H905.00.80.50 chronometer turn since the incident. Senior Enforcer. We performed an emergency warp jump, barely activated the Geller field in time, and are now being dragged into Throne knows where by an unknown force. The Lady Navigator and the Lord Captain are still unaccounted for. Now tell me, one more time, what transpired in the Sanctum Navis? I escorted the Lord Captain to the observation chambers and yelled at the servant for leaving the shutters open, but then I was told it was on the rogue trader's orders. We could see the Lady Navigator clearly through the armor glass. She was lost in thought, staring at the canvas in front of her. She looked like she was completely unaware of the world around her. Soon the servants were ordered to leave the Sanctum Navis, and the Lady Navigator picked up her brush. Entranced, she started dragging it across the canvas, painting one image over another, and another over the last, and another. And then the Lord Captain noticed it. There was a thing on the other side. The picture, covered in a layer of blood, was coming to life, and the Lady Navigator was oblivious. This is when the Lord Captain dashed to the control panel. I didn't dare stop him. I just watched, bolter at the ready. The machine spirits went mad, and the doors and the shutters started opening and closing at random, but the rogue trader managed to dart inside. Startled by all the noise, the Lady Navigator turned around, and in those horrors in her paintings, they broke free. And then what happened next? I barely remember a thing. There was a bright flash, a purple blur. I remember feeling so scared that my knees were shaking. I remember my legs carrying me away like they had a mind of their own. As I ran, I heard screams behind me. The Lord Captain and Lady Cassia. They... Oh God, Emperor, the creatures, they pulled them both inside the painting. Sir? Mistress Voxmaster, I have a report that needs to be delivered to the senior officers. The Lord Captain and the Lady Navigator were lost during the emergency warp jump. Their whereabouts are still unknown. I'm sending you the interrogation reports. End of recording. Sector, no data. Region, no data. Location, no data. Material, relation of the Lord Captain's personal account recorded by, no data. Note, strictly classified. Access protocol header, Malachi von Valancius. Tisiphone Orselio's ritual did not go as planned. The warp disturbance triggered by the Lady Navigator's trance washed over the Sanctum Navis. The voidship's machine spirits reacted to the surge of the Imperium and interpreted it as a call to action. Thus did the emergency jump into the unknown begin. Amid the shrieks of sirens, the clanging of shutters, and the distant hum of the warp engine, some unknown will pulled the Lord Captain into the Sanctum Navis, toward the creatures from the living canvas that had already gripped the Lady Navigator's throat. Horrified, almost out of breath and struggling to scream, Cassia stretched out her hand, and began slowly sinking into her own painting. The Lord Captain either snatched a dagger from the floor and started hacking at the hands reaching from inside the painting, tried to escape from the Sanctum Navis, or grabbed the Lady Navigator's hand to try to pull her back out. Let's try and pull her out. I think that seems sensible. It's also a more difficult check, isn't it? So I think that's a good thing for us to do. Although, the difficulty modifier doesn't seem to add up between these two, because this says it's a difficulty modifier of plus 30. While this one is saying it is minus 10, so I don't think the numbers next to it actually line up with the check that's being done. I'm going to do the toughness one. The Lord well, actually, let's see how difficult it actually was. Yeah, so it does say it's with minus 10. Anyway, doesn't matter. The Lord Captain pulled the Lady Navigator closer. After a while, the creatures eased their onslaught, and Cassia crashed into the Lord Captain, knocking him off his feet. The Lord Captain felt a sharp pain in his side as Cassia's Cogita brush pierced his flesh during the fall. A moment later, Cassia was sucked into the air and pulled inside the canvas. Instants later, the rogue trader himself was plunged into the depths of the world the Lady Navigator had created. So, something about the brush piercing us caused us to be pulled in as well. Maybe because it had our blood on it or something. Malachi awoke, finding himself in the middle of a gigantic, boundless, billowing nothingness. His body felt weightless, floating in a void strewn with hundreds of the Lady Navigator's colours. Some of them bright, warm, and alluring. Others morose, cold, and heavy. The Lord Captain closed his eyes and remained adrift in a weightlessness. I don't think we should go towards either colour. Malachi stayed in the ocean of nothingness, devoid of any sensation or emotion, until a persistent pulsation in his right side reminded him of a world that once seemed more real than this one. Someone's scream broke the delicate equilibrium of the Lord Captain's motionless body, and the weightlessness released him. He plummeted into the maroon abyss of roiling illusions, but was now in full control of his body again. Then Malachi descended into the abyss toward the screams. Oh, wow. The Lord Captain crashed from an immeasurable height to the bottom of a roiling abyss. In the next moment, Malachi saw two figures amid the billowing maroon mist. One of the figures, unnaturally gaunt and tall, was clutching the other, smaller in its claws, screaming furiously. These bits of artwork on the side of these ones are always incredible. I love them. The style is fantastic. So we can peer into the strange maroon mist, or drew closer to the figure. I'm going to peer into the strange maroon mist. In the swirling mist all around him, Malachi could make out human faces stricken with torment. And not just human faces, they were Xenos, Eldari, their features fused together with those of humans, which made the Crimson Spectres look all the more abominable. Their gazes and their rage were directed at the two unmoving figures facing each other. The Lord Captain drew closer to the figures. One step was all it took for some unknown force to notice the Lord Captain, seize him and drag him through the painting's twisted space. Now the Lord Captain could clearly see the dark shade of the long-dead navigator leaning over Cassia, clutching her neck in its clawed figures. The shade screamed, "You were given life because of me. You survived because of me. And here you are now because I have willed it so. Bow before me. Tell me what I wish to hear and your suffering will end. Go on, child. I've waited for so long. Submit to me." Cassia looks exhausted, her body covered in hundreds of thin cuts, her lips lacerated, claw marks on her cheeks. Yet there was steadfast resolve in her eyes. "I know who you are, Tisiphone or Celio. I know what you crave. I saw it in the visions you sent me again and again. I will never allow you to become me." Cassia's fatigued voice quivered, but she was not about to yield in this battle. The Lord Captain followed his intuition and jabbed the Cogita Brush's catheter into his own vein. Urge the Lady Navigator to fight the monster to the bitter end, or attack the dead Navigator with his bare hands. That's not going to succeed. Let's urge the Lady Navigator to fight the monster to the bitter end. The Lord Captain's words attracted not just Lady Cassia's attention. Tisiphone or Celio, finally noticing the presence of a living creature in that bizarre world, turned to face the interloper and lunged forward, seething with rage. When the entity's claws were millimeters from the rogue trader's throat, Cassia opened her navigator's eye, and a wave of unbridled warp energy obliterated Tisiphone's spectre before she realized what was happening. The Lady Navigator graced the Lord Captain with a tired smile. The abortive ritual had turned out to be a trap set for Lady Cassia by the previous novator of her house, but the rogue trader had ensured that her plan had fell to ruin, and now it was time to desert that accursed place. Cassia took the rogue trader's hand and guided him through the maroon mist and out of the painting. Their unconscious bodies were discovered in the Sanctum Navis 20 Terran days after their disappearance, as soon as the rogue trader's voidship had emerged from warp in an unknown system. So this is 20 days later? Oh, okay. You would think that would be a bigger deal, but I guess that everything is happening on a much longer scale than we thought. Like, if this trip could be 20 days, then like all these little jumps we've been doing between systems, that could be like almost a month between systems, which is crazy. What does this do? Huh. I didn't know that this existed. What does it do though? Does it tell you if there's anything there? It allows you to go between planets, you don't need to randomly search? What? Okay. Anyway. That's useful. Where were we? We're here. Let's visit this system. Yeah, after me going, I don't know where this place is. There's just a button that can take you there. Ooh. The purple sun is crazy. I like it. Okay. Well, we saved. Let's see what's going on here. I guess it's purple star, not necessarily a sun, but they've been calling them suns. Anyway. That's fine. Let's head over here. Just another burning world for our burning world collection. scan. And somewhere to land. The Palace of the Atlas. Let's land. We have our squad. We're happy with our squad, I think. Well, I'm going to take out Argenta for Heinrichs. I think I'm happy with this squad. I think that Heinrichs is going to have more to say if there's some weird wibbly wobbly stuff happening. Let's go. This looks like an Eldari world. I want to take Earliet. Can you show me the picture of the world and then let me choose who I'm taking? Thank you, game. Immediately leave. Just like, yeah, actually this world looks a lot more Eldari than I initially thought. Okay. Well, if there's wibbly wobbly stuff, yeah, maybe Jai for that, and then we'll take Idira. And then, I mean, if it's Eldari, I kind of want to take our Abelard and put in Marazai. So this is our new squad to take out. So again, we're taking a Xenos, but I mean, it is a Xenos planet. I mean, that's quite clearly Eldari. That is firmly Eldari, in fact. Yeah. Okay, well, let's go. Let's now sort out our group. So now we're looking at something a bit more like... well, a bit more like this, really. Yeah. Something like this, really, is what we're looking at. Okay.
Keep your wits about you.
This world, again, looks it's really cool. So, let's have a look here. So there's a route we can take on each side, and there's the route straight forward. Let's go with left first. Okay. So that looks like Imperium tech, and this is Eldari tech around it. So, yeah, they were obviously doing some kind of excavation of an Eldari world. Decayed pages. House Arcelio need not know what is taking place here. The navigators are frightened enough by its power as it is. The last experiment left 3 from this Set Hala clan without a shred of reason. Empty shells will bring no glory to House Arcelio or its lesser branch. We shall carry on. At last we've managed to implant the artifact in subjects who can wield its power. Perhaps all the navigators who perished in the agonizing torrent of energy were merely a symptom of our decline. I'm tired of counting the dead. The weak have no place among those who have harnessed the Atlas. Their abilities have grown manifold and become significantly easier to control and more effective at resisting the ruinous influence of the war. It is all or nothing. Today is the day when my work is completed and the Starway Atlas takes its final form. The Set Halas have already undergone the operation. All that is left is... me. The Atlas that controls them all. Today I become the greatest novator in the history of House Arcelio, or return to nothing. This power is beyond compare. All it took was a whim to make the wretched Set Halas fall dead at my feet. It is as if I have a second heart beating in my chest, subjugating any with the ability to touch it. How regrettable it is that this power only extends to those Arcelio navigators who have accepted a piece of the Atlas within themselves. From now on, all children will be gifted with one at their initiation. There'll be no one who can match our greatness. Okay. Interesting.
Rise to the top, or get left in the dust.
It is kind of implied that Cassia can use it better than anyone else, at least in her house, or is the only one who can use it? Which is interesting. I want to know more. There's a barely noticeable imprint of a long, clawed hand on the broken cogitator screen. So something with a clawed hand did that. Okay, climb down.
There.
What have we got here? The Arcelio navigators left no stone unturned in this Eldari temple, as if they were looking for something that they just could not find. Tech use?
That's how it's done.
And we got goods out of this. We have elite marksman gloves that give 15 ballistic skill to a Drukhari. Interesting.
Easily done.
Okay. A webway. The Eldari Sanctum is blemished by a human presence. In the pursuit of the ancient secrets, the navigators had no qualms about filling the ruins with machinery and supplies. That makes a lot more sense. That might not be a proper webway, but it's definitely a portal.
Keep your eye on the prize.
You know what I'm meaning? I guess the webway is something you travel through with the portals. Anyway, it looks like a portal, that's what I'm saying, but not like one of the bigger ones. Okay, let's go right first.
If people could see what I see in you, they would fear your kind even more than they already do.
Marazai?
That is the folly of the monkey. You squeal like livestock from the pain inflicted by our blades, when you ought to tremble at the horrors hidden in the gaze of those such as you.
Ooh, okay. Goods. It's a sword. Someone removed the data crypt from the dead machine to keep the house's secrets safe and leave no information about the experiments that took place here. Okay, this side. Definitely an Eldari. Lord Xenos?
Success is the only outcome.
The ruined statues once depicted pages from the long history of the Eldari. Wait, how do we get here?
I always keep my options open.
Wait, we can just climb up there? I didn't even realize that until I saw a check. Sure, okay. Let's do a demolitions here then.
That was a problem for you.
Goods. We have the plasma ring, does a bunch of damage, and the grenadier's backpack. The wearer and their allies are immune to damage from the wearer's grenade. The first time the wearer uses a grenade during their turn, they have a 50% chance not to expend the grenade. Yeah, when we use the grenades, which we use all the time. Yeah, all those grenades that we use, definitely, that'll be really useful. We definitely don't just forget that we have them and never use them. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, we don't need to use them. All we need to do is shoot people and then they die. It's actually fairly easy once you shoot them. You know, grenades seem like they would muddy the waters slightly. We have Navis bodyguards here?
I always have a backup plan.
Halt, cursed child. We had to ally ourselves with the Xenos once more to stop you. Oh. No matter, it's a small price to pay for the liberation of House Orselio from the chains of tyranny. Okay. Oh, hello. Begone, renegades. We followed the Atlas's call in your wake, child. Stand with us. House Orselio will not trade Tisiphone's legacy for the false ideals of blind fools. Okay. If somebody would talk to us when we could do something. What is happening? Ah. Well, now they're mostly dead? All dead? All the navigators are dead from both sides. What? Except for Cassia, who's alive, and the other guy who's standing there. Now we have Eldari. Oh, and the Renegades representative. Damn Xenos, this was not the bargain we struck, Throne smite you. The navigator whose skin is so thin that it reveals the muscles, bones, and innards underneath clenches his augmented gold jaw in contempt. What is this? The rogue traitor and the traitors to the house have lured the child into a trap set by Xenos. I wish my eyes were deceiving me, but now I can see clearly that Great Regent Oranto was right to send us after your vessel. This is because we saved his life. The sturdily built woman is armed with a pistol, and yet there are signs of exhaustion in her posture. Her face is hidden behind a gem-encrusted three-eyed mask, and her elaborate Navis Nobilite vestments are stained with dried blood and other evidence of recent combat. Okay. I too wish to be enlightened about what is happening here. You will stop defiling the remains of the hallowed ground of our ancestors with your semblance of speak, monkey. The Harlequin's bright colours glimmer faintly in the dim light of the speech. I read the wrong line. In the dim light of the system's stars, and the sinister grin on his mask only adds to his menacing and aloof presence. The final act will soon unfold, where you will pay for the deeds of your ancestors. Stay put and wait for the puppeteer to pull at your strings. Why are there Xenos ruins where the Palace of the Atlas should be? Why is this place coated in an impenetrable black mist? I'm suffocating. Cassia clutches her breastplate near where her atlas is, her voice feeble and trembling. Three-eyed monkey who sees into the Sha'il, the taint of your ancestors has begun to consume your body and soul. Pathetic fools with an insatiable lust for power that is not yours, ending your misery will be merciful. Taint? Do you mean the Atlas, Xenostrator? Silence, traitor. The Atlas is the sacred relic of House Orselio, is what elevates us above the rest. How dare you? The Regent's envoy abruptly loses her breath with a groan, and she clutches her chest where the Atlas is implanted. I refuse to accept this. Impossible. What is this place? We call planets such as these ones crone worlds. They came to be long before my time. Back when all of the Eldari were a united people whose empire stretched from one edge of the galaxy to the other. It is a world beneath the first stars, an unblighted world. I never thought that I would come to find one. I have nothing to add to the outcast's words, other than my eternal astonishment at your curious troop, monkey. What is this taint you speak of, Xenos? Do you not see it? The Harlequin's voice booms through the ruined temple. When you, monkey, discovered this crone world, you tainted it with your crude technology, despoiled it of its relics, ruined all there was to the last stone. But worst of all, you sullied the souls of our ancestors reposed in their sacred vessel, the Spirit Monolith. He points his thin finger at the remarkable crystal floating behind his back, and the Harlequins around you tighten the grips on their weapons. Like a sea of bottomless blue. Cassia looks around her with a stunned expression, her gaze shifting from one Xenos to another. I did not know that living things could exude such saturated hues. Wish I could paint this ocean on a different color. I'm wondering whether the Atlas is parts of the Spirit Stone. That's what they have embedded in them. You sullied the souls of our ancestors reposed in their sacred vessel, the Spirit Monolith. So it sounds like bits of the Spirit Monolith might be the Atlas that was implanted in these people, and that's what's giving them their better navigator powers. It's the fact that they have the soul of an Eldari in there. Let's examine the hovering crystal. This enormous translucent stone shares a strange resonance with this place. You can sense the energy emanating from it, mysterious, restless, collagitated. It resembles a giant heart that's been plucked out of its owner's chest. Its crystal clarity is pierced by hundreds of dark veins that have taken root within, like a terrible illness. So that's what you would say, like blood is coagulated. So it's kind of, yeah, if the energy feels like I'm trying to think of the right way, like thick blood. That's an interesting way of describing it. Or a thick liquid, I guess you could say as well. How did the navigators of House Orselio taint the Spirit Monolith? The experiments. Cassia covers her mouth in horror. This is where she conducted her experiments, Tisiphone. No, it is not possible. To consort with Xenos is to violate the word of the God Emperor. It is known to all that Tisiphone Orselio executed anyone who showed interest in the enemies of humanity. Well, because then they could also find out this power. Is that so? Then why is it that every piece of metal or fabric in this place bears our house's coat of arms? Open your eyes. Quiet. The Harlequin's tone is mild, but it is not a request. I am unsurprised that the truth is hidden from your gazes, three-eyed monkey who see into Sha'il. I realized it the moment I first met you, wretched, begging us to help you destroy your own kin. I sensed it within you, our ancestors' call, their pleas, their endless torment. I knew what you had found was a crone world, and I humbly waited for the day that you would lead me to it. What is the meaning behind your words, Aether Troop Master? You already know you know the answer already, Outcast. You have always known. What was that about? What answer have you always known? Earliet glares at Cassia. So that is why your presence makes my soul shrink to the size of a river pearl, my throat choke in a collar of thorns. That is why your words seep into my soul like poison, leaving wounds that will not heal. There is a shard of the Spirit Monolith inside you, monkey, twisted, perverted, invigorating you by making my ancestors suffer. I wonder whether, if you take Cassia to Komarag, whether something about this comes out. This sounds like the kind of thing that might. Alas, you were right, outcast. The ancestors of the three-eyed monkey sought to command the power of the Spirit Monolith, and yet they suffered failure time and again. Eventually they discovered a way to harness this power, a terrible way, torturous and unforgivable. They shattered the monolith into many shards that weakened the souls within, and then... The Harlequin trembles with fury. Then they placed the shards of the Spirit Monolith inside their bodies to empower their abilities. I never wished to learn such harsh truths about my own house. Cassia buries her face in her hands, and you feel waves of despair spreading from her live frame, which suddenly appears as fragile as glass. Let's see what we're gonna say here. Neither Theodore von Valancius nor Tisiphone was infallible. That does not mean we are powerless to rectify the errors of our ancestors. I like that one. You say that only because you wish to soothe me, she smiles faintly. The renegade navigator stares at Cassia in shock. You are more than just a tyrant's heir. You are a successor to this mad heretic, a betrayer of the faith. You must be destroyed, you and the Atlas, once and for all. You think the solution is so easy, don't you, monkey? When you die, your souls become captives inside the Spirit Monolith. This process is deranging to our ancestors, who have served as the Monolith's guardians for aeons. It is equally agonizing to the souls of your dead, and the more monkey souls that the Monolith absorbs, the more volatile it becomes. The Eldar and the monkey have spent many a dance battling for supremacy within the Monolith, and its integrity is waning. You sense it too. The only way to free our ancestors from the pain is to separate the monkey taint from the Spirit Monolith. My troop is here to perform just that. We will all play our parts today, and when the final act of this age-long tragedy begins, the monkey players will exit this world's stage. Sinister shadows dance on the Harlequin's mask as he draws an unknown device from his sleeve. Okay, so... we'd say the Atlas must certainly be destroyed, but surely the entire house cannot be expected to serve penance for Tisiphone's crimes. Is there no way whatsoever to separate the Navigator's souls from those of the Eldari without killing one or the other? And what do you say of the Xenos' assertions? We can say that Cassia is the inheritor of the one who bound the Spirit Monolith to the Navigator's bodies. Listen to what she has to say. She is not the woman her predecessor is. Serve your justice, or I'm not here to let some duplicitous Xenos slaughter the navigators of the Imperium. Let's ask 2 first. Is there no way whatsoever to separate the navigator's souls from those of the Eldari without killing one or the other? The Xenos thinks for a moment. You monkey have desecrated our ancient world. I see no reason to assist you with the final dance. Okay. Cassia can bring death to her entire house with but a thought. What would become of the monolith if the souls of House Orsilio and navigators were to leave their bodies all at once? Or, save the navigators from death and you will gain a powerful ally among humans. Let's say that. Perhaps the three-eyed monkey who see into Sha'il could be of use to the troop. They do not fear the realm of She Who Thirsts. They cut through it on their steel-winged birds. Even found their way to a crone world that was hidden from our sight. The Harlequin lowers his head in thought. Your words are harmonious, monkey, but what will your companions say? Cassia gives you a grateful nod and turns to the Harlequin troop. I cannot change the past, it is true, nor can I change the fact that my house is forever tainted with the disgrace born of Tisiphone Orselio's hubris. Yet, all of us here today have the power to change the future and halt the unending suffering that is drowning both your kin and mine. You suggest that the monkey and the Eldari change the future together? The Harlequin leans forward curiously. I must admit, my leading lady, I'm confounded by your audacity. Go on. My atlas. Cassia places a hand on her gilded breastplate. If you can free the phantoms of my house from the Spirit Monolith, guide them to enter my atlas, their experience and wisdom will help steer House Orselio into the path of truth and allow future generations to avoid the calamitous pitfalls of their forebears. Ke Morag, my leading lady. The shards of the monolith are lodged inside your chest of every monkey The shards of the monolith are lodged inside the chest of every monkey bound to you by ties of blood. How exactly do you intend to return them? I shall use the atlas to sever my subject's connection to the Spirit Monolith, and then I shall extract its shards from every navigator of House Orselio. This artifact is implanted at birth, but it does not mean the ritual cannot be reversed. I witnessed its creation through Tisiphone's eyes in my visions. I lived it over and over again, through the memories of the Sethala clan. I can recreate the ritual that will return the souls of your kin to you, and save my people's lives. Cassia, are you really capable of this? I'm confident in my abilities, more so than ever before. Okay. Seldom do humans and Xenos get a chance to resolve their conflicts without violence. I second Lady Cassia's proposal. The Harlequin remains as still as a garish statue for several minutes. Then the mellifluous voice behind the mask says, I am willing to try, monkey. Also, I just realized this Harlequin's just speaking like a normal person. Unlike the other Harlequin that spoke entirely in riddles, this one's just like, yeah, I can just speak normally. The other guy's just weird. Okay. No. The Regent's envoy draws her pistol. I won't let you destroy the Atlas, even if it is the child's wish. Lady Orselio, you are too young, inexperienced. You simply cannot comprehend. You address the future Novator of House Orselio. One who survived the massacre of Uruk V, one who has lived following an attempt on her life at the Palace of Dargonus, one who has restored her house's stability in what scant time she has been free, while you, all of you, have spent years destroying it from within. You address one who has passed through the tempest of the Sea of Souls to the true Atlas as a rogue trader's ally. You still call me unworthy, don't you? Young, inexperienced. Kneel before me and I shall forgive you for your insolence. Ooh, that was a fellowship test. Interesting. I mean, she easily passed because her fellowship is huge, but still, okay. House Orselio was always loyal to Novator Tisiphone. Henceforth, it will be loyal to her successor, even if you see fit to lead us down a different path, my lady. The navigator's voice trembles with reverence. Are you done with your performance, monkey? Then stand aside. Do not interrupt. Ah, you can feel it again, the tranquility. The ancestral souls have found peace, and the corruption no longer endangers the monolith or this world. The Harlequin's narrow shoulders now look completely relaxed. Remember our agreement, Cassia Orselio. We will soon meet in this place again, so that you can give us the shards. And now be gone from our world, monkey. We did it! Well, that was rather straightforward. I had the feeling there could have been quite a big fight there otherwise, but that went fairly well. What have we got? So we have bolters and we have las guns. Alright. Cool. We now have this. The purified monolith shines like a guiding star, and waves of calm and relief wash over the hearts of those who step close. We have more things to pick up from the bodyguards.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
I'm guessing we lost out on loot by doing that, because otherwise we would have got loot from one of the sides that we killed, but that's okay.
I always get the
Xenos.
job done.
According to the faded glyphs, the statue depicts an Eldari hero who created 100 worlds and twice as many stars. Wait, the Eldari who created stars?
Rise to the
Interesting.
top or get left in
Well,
the
that kind of
dust.
lines up with what Emelina was trying to do, doesn't it? Time-worn manuscript. There was a time I believed that I would lead my house to prosperity. In truth, fortune and blessings have long since been passing us by, as if the Koronus Expanse itself is trying to oust the Urselio children from its bounds. If nothing changes in the near future, all of us will wither like night flowers at dawn, or perhaps face our ultimate fall. Upon my word, the Sea of Souls itself must favour me. During the last jump, I saw into the eye of a vicious storm. Within it, amid the ruins of a Xenos world, was a treasure, mighty and dangerous, not unlike her own power. I found a way to reach it. I drive away the memory of our journey and the cost that our house suffered. The ritual alone was, no matter, the goal will be worth the price, and due effort is all that is needed of us. By the grace of the Emperor, we made it through the terrible tempest. However, the Eldari ruins appear to have dampened the crew's spirits. Those pitiful commoners talk too much. Tensions in the camp are rising. I should cut out the tongues of those who witnessed the first experiments. This information cannot be allowed to reach the ship. No, not just them. I shall have the Sethala clan dock the tongue of every lowborn. Interesting.
Keep your wits about you.
Okay. Can't go this way any further. The other way? Another Lower Xenos.
That's how it's done.
This was a piece of an altar that the ancient Eldari used for some long-forgotten ritual.
Is there money to be made? Success is
The
the
Eldari's
only
gods once
outcome
walked
I
among them,
accept.
teaching and guiding, protecting them from harm. There were no boundaries between mortal creatures and their patrons. There's no loot here. We've been everywhere. We've even been over here and been over there.
I always
Yeah.
have a backup plan.
Alright, we're done here, I guess. That's fine. Yeah. Okay. Let's leave. That was fairly straightforward. I guess we didn't fight anyone, which made it fairly straightforward, but still. Okay. Then I'm assuming we have to speak to Cassia? Yes. Okay, let's speak to Cassia then. See what she has to say. Okay. And once we load in, we can speak to Cassia. We're almost there. And we've loaded. Nice. Okay. Cassia is back this way at the back. Hello.
How nice of you to grace me with your presence. I was just thinking back to our journey to the palace of the Atlas. That is, to the world of Xenos. Remembering that most reckless act has enveloped my mind in a whole palette of hues. But when I think of the great risk you took for House Orselio's and my own sake, an azure shawl instantly descends on my shoulders, and amber sparks flash inside my soul. Please accept my sincerest gratitude.
So you are now the full-fledged Novator of House Orselio.
You of all people should know that succession is a lengthy and tiresome process. While my entire house is busy preparing for a grand council at which I am to ceremonially inherit the late Tisiphane's title, I have decided to remain by your side, to relish just a little more of this carefree liberty. For as soon as I am summoned to do my duty, we must say our farewells.
What awaits the navigators of your house now?
The Xenos have managed to free the souls of our ancestors from their confinement. The memory and wisdom of those that came before us will serve our house, helping build upon the ruins of the present a firm foundation for generations to come. I believe in that, as I believe in the divine light of the Emperor.
So now the entire power of the Atlas is in the Novator's hands.
I suppose so, if by power you mean priceless knowledge. As for the special powers granted by the Xenos souls, The navigators of House Orselio will once again have to contend with their own bodily and spiritual limitations. However, I am undaunted by the prospect, for our line and our gene have never been weak. House Orselio will succeed, and soon we will rise again, draped in white and gold.
I'd like to discuss other business.
Of course. I will try to answer any questions you have.
That's it.
I have enjoyed your company. Thank you for the conversation.
Okay, we have finished her quest. It still had a very weird end, but that one felt a little bit more fleshed out than Heinrich's. I get the feeling that all of these are going to feel a little bit not quite as fleshed out as you would want. I'm just kind of getting that feeling. I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit cynical here, but they all seem to be like, turn up, have a conversation, maybe a fight, and then we're done. It's like, okay. They kind of start with a lot of promise though, but that one was, I think, cooler. I think I like that one more. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.